Welcome to TTV News, broadcast on Tay Ninh radio and television station. Ladies and gentlemen, over the past time, the militia force in the province has done something meaningful to the prevention and control of the COVID-19 epidemic. They have been in charge of maintaining security and order at the isolation areas, controlling people entering and leaving the area at the border posts, or coordinating with patrol forces on open pathways along the border to prevent illegal entry and exit.
Phuoc Chi is a border commune of Trang Bang Tao with one river border post, which has seriously and drastically implemented measures to prevent and control the COVID-19 pandemic. In order to do well the fight against the epidemic, the communal militia force has cooperated with functional forces to establish checkpoints in order to control people and vehicles entering the area under the direction of the Provincial Peace Committee and the Provincial Military Command. The militia force is on duty 24 per 24 hours at the checkpoints and directly propagates for citizens to raise their awareness of prevention control of the epidemic. Following the direction of the commune authorities on the epidemic prevention control, Line Mile Ferry has tracked passengers according to regulations. During the patrol and control over the past time, the checkpoint has discovered many illegal intrusions, with more than 30 people being brought into the quarantine area.
Facing the increasingly complicated development of COVID-19 pandemic in other countries, especially in Cambodia and Thailand, responding to the guidance of the Ministry of Defense, together with 10 provinces bordering Cambodia, the military command of Tay Ninh Province has deployed 55 militia soldiers from inland communes to support anti-epidemic groups directly under its authorities in the border areas. These soldiers will support the 8 border guard stations considered as key areas in the management and protection of the borders, as well as the prevention and control of COVID-19 pandemic. Meanwhile, the remaining border guard stations are working closely with the local authorities, strengthening local forces, consolidating checking groups. These border guard stations are also stepping up patrol and tightening the security of the border areas, determined to prevent the spread of COVID-19, illegal entry and exit, as well as other crimes. During this time, the command boards of border guard stations intensified the inspection and supervision of the implementation of tasks at the checkpoints, thereby reminding the soldiers to uphold the spirit of solidarity, overcome difficulties, aiming for one common goal for a peaceful border. The Election Commission of Tay Ninh Province has been urgently implementing the election of deputies to the 15th National Assembly and the People's Council at all levels for the term 2021-2026, and the election has been closely and accurately prepared.
Up to this point, the election preparation in the province is organized in terms of content and time, according to the law. The assisting subcommittees, departments, branches, and members of the Provincial Election Commission have actively developed plans to implement the task on time. In order to prepare well for the election, the Provincial Election Commission requested related subcommittees and units to strengthen propaganda about the election so that it truly becomes a festival of the entire people, to promote propaganda and defeat the distorted allegations of hostile forces. The Commission also requested and quickly allocate funds for units and localities to actively implement the task, strengthening measures of 5K at polling places, preventing and controlling COVID-19 pandemic to avoid the spread of the disease to the community, and drastically suppress criminals.
Moving on to other news, one of the remarkable achievements in the construction and development of Tay Ninh Province is the attraction of domestic and foreign investment. The Provincial People's Committee has focused on promoting investment promotion, organizing many domestic and foreign promotion activities to actively promote and call for investment. The committee has also taken corrective measures to improve the investment and business environment. The Provincial People's Committee has mainly focused on reducing and simplifying administrative procedures, ensuring publicity, transparency, and enhancing accountability of state administrative agencies, strengthening dialogue with investors, promptly removing difficulties and problems for businesses. Since 2016, the Provincial Competitiveness Index or PCI has continuously been improved. In 2020, Tay Ninh ranked 24 out of 63 provinces, down 9 places compared to 2019, and ranked in the good group. The efforts in administrative reform, improving the investment environment of the province, is one of the highlights that domestic and foreign strategic investors have highly appreciated and proposed many investment cooperation projects with the province. In the 2015-2020 period, domestic and foreign investment has doubled compared to the previous 5 years period. The whole province now has 552 domestic investment projects with a total registered capital of nearly 78 trillion Vietnam dong and 350 foreign investment projects with a total registered capital of nearly $8 billion.
46 years after the day the South was completely liberated, the country was reunified. Tay Ninh has built and developed its economy with outstanding results. In the 2015-2020 period, the economic growth rate reached 7.2%. The size of the provincial economy increased by 1.68 times compared to the previous period. Significantly, the economic structure shifted towards industrialization and modernization. The process of industrial restructuring associated with the innovation of the growth model and improvement of the labor productivity has become more practical. Industry continues to be the sector with the highest labor productivity. Proportion of industry and services accounts for 76.9% in CRDP. In 2020, the proportion of industry in the CRDP reached 38.7%, considered a major step from 28% in 2015. The average production value in the 2016-2020 period increases 16.7% per year. Investment projects in the industrial sector tend to increase the content of elements of technology and automation towards the creation of new products, refined products with high added value. In particular, the fact that 9 solar power plants put into operation with a total capacity of 678 MW-peak has put Tay Ninh in the group of localities leading the country in terms of solar power. The strong development of industrial production is the decisive factor in increasing the province's export turnover, reaching $19 billion, an average increase of 8% per year, in which the group of industrial goods accounts for nearly 82%.
Ladies and gentlemen, 46 years after the South was completely liberated out of the southwestern border war, Tay Ninh embarked on socio-economic construction, entering the process of renovation and integration. From a pure agricultural province, Tay Ninh has become a developing province with high and continuous economic growth. This is the pride, the driving force, an important resource, and the belief of the entire party, the people, and the army of the province to continue firmly on the path of comprehensive and sustainable innovation. 46 years passed, and it took 35 years to carry out the reform process. Each day, under the leadership of the party, Tay Ninh sets directions and solutions to achieve the set goals, making an important mark in the construction and development of the province. In the period of 2016-2020, the average GRDP growth of the province reached 7.2%, higher than the national average. The size of the provincial economy increased by 1.68 times compared to the previous period. The quality of growth has improved. GRDP per capita in 2020 reached over $3,100, 1.51 times higher than 2015. In 2020, Although heavily affected by the COVID-19 epidemic, the province's GDP growth rate still reached 3.92%, remained at 2 digits, and is in the stable group compared to many provinces in the country. The rate of poor households had decreased sharply, being one of the provinces with the lowest poverty rates in the country. The mobilization of investment resources for social development has achieved quite impressive results, accounting for 35.9% of GRDP during the 2016-2020, higher than the 33.7% of the national average, and increased 73% compared to the period of 2011-2015. FDI attraction increased strongly, ranked in the top of the country. In the period of 2016-2020, the province has attracted nearly $4,600 million, an increase of nearly 70% compared to the period of 2011-2015. The budget revenue reached 10,000 billion Vietnam dong. With the determination of the whole political system, the drastic direction of the Provincial Party Committee, the Provincial Committee, the business community, and the people in the province, and especially the staff in the finance sector, the general economic bloc, have determined to strive. So far, we have reached the historical milestone of 10,000 billion Vietnam dong. This is a very good news. The budget revenue increased 20 times compared to 500 billion Vietnam dong of 20 years ago. The economic structure has shifted towards industrialization and modernization. Proportion of industry and services accounts for nearly 77% of GRDP. Labor productivity increased by 5.7% per year on average. Industry grew well and contributed highly to economic growth. The value of industrial production increased by 15.4% on average. Trade, service, and tourism have many prosperity. Export increases 8% per year on average, and total export turnover is 2 times higher than the previous period. Today's achievement is the result of generations of Tay Ninh people who have experienced many hardships, ups and downs in the homeland's construction after years of fierce war. Tay Ninh is increasingly asserting its position in the construction and development. Not only today but tomorrow, the people of Tay Ninh Province are forever proud and resilient to follow the tradition of the previous generations to build a sustainable, prosperous, and happy homeland. That's all for today, TTV News. Thanks for watching and see you next time.